beloved. This is the Culture and Camaraderie podcast, the most thought-provoking, introspective, industrious creative discussion with my guy Tiberius.
Wagwan.
Big Blammer, I got the hammer.
And
myself, Damadici, or nytypical.net.
You didn't even drop
Hit
my...
up. Give it a second, homie. Give it a second. Hit up Black's Era for all your production needs. He the nigga with all the equipment. He got all the equipment and organization. You feel me? You feel me? In a new location, undisclosed, but it'll be disclosed if you hit him up at Lex_ERA, my G. Anyways, marketing, business development, project manager, damn mad things. Anyways,
so mad.
What do we want to talk about today? Actually, well, I did say that I want to talk about being a person. That's kind of like what the way that this podcast kind of started out. But is there any topics that you actually want to talk about?
I would say I want to talk about Culture's album.
And then, like, here's the thing, though. We're going to archive these soon, which is the only reason why I'm being very open. So it's like you can only find these on our websites and stuff like that. Because we can do the record. Boop, boop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man. You told me about your shit, man.
Tell you about my shit. Do you know what?
Man.
Yeah, just being completely honest. I think this is the least I've made anything in my whole entire life, this point in my life.
I feel that.
This is the least I've ever made anything. And I think that's what I was talking about, like, sort of, I've had such a weirdly turbulent year. I've had a weirdly turbulent year. And obviously, most people's years are turbulent, especially when you're doing creative endeavors or you're doing anything that requires you to step out of a comfort zone or do something out of the ordinary, do something that you truly want to do. But it's weird because I've been so scattered and thinking about what I'm meant to be doing and how everything's adding up and how that fits into how I keep myself alive and thriving and developing just as a person, aside from everything creative. And yeah, it's just like I've just been sitting down, like I haven't been, other than the events, I haven't actually been solidly creating. A lot of it is because of it's not just because of life per se, but it's not just because I haven't been creating, I should say, but also there's been a lot in this past like 3 months that I've had to be sort of settling into and sorting out. And I feel like now I've sort of just coming out on the other side of that, like getting moved in my house, getting that all sorted.
Yeah, you create a different vibe and environment for yourself, which is like the thing. It's like the one thing that like is just generally hard for all creators to do. Is like create an environment and be like the lord of that environment. And like say, this is what I want, and then literally go to get it, which is like the most admirable thing a creative can do. And
it's mad because even though in terms of creative endeavors, I wouldn't say the things that I've done necessarily, like, look, the event was a smash, and that's something we've wanted to do. We've been talking about this year, like as a crew, like as a group, like especially with Suede, we've done everything we said we was going to do and done it well. Like we said we was going to move in together. We said we was going to throw a like mad event and we're going to do it sick, and we've done that. And like everything else that I've put myself, just even individually saying I wanted to get out of my mum's house and just have this like next few years to just sort of forge my actually truly independent path and put myself into position to just sort of take the reins a little bit, and put myself in a position where I can't make any excuses, I guess, and just, you know, I mean, whether or not this will make things easier, harder, or make me more resilient, that time will tell that. But I think the position I put myself in now, and just everything from being by myself independently to even the subtler things of I'm 10 minutes away from my work instead of an hour and a half. So I've got 3 extra hours in my whole entire life to be able to do whatever it is I need to do. I'm in London. I'm around some of the most creative people I know, and we're here in the house together, set in this place that we said we wanted to find, and we're all here backing each other creatively, working, not just living together but working together. And yeah, I think the past year has been my vision's been so muddied because of everything else I've been doing, like just in terms of trying to find my place where I can just settle myself in terms of what I need to do. And now it's going to be a case of that I found that sort of that space that I can, like, I've found that space, not just in where I'm working currently and where I'm living, but just a space where I'm going to be able to truly sort of forge that vision now. And it's funny because, like, being at this rap battle event that I was at today, it's funny, like, watching these people. It was such an interesting thing to see, because when I go to these things, like, I'm not a huge rap fan. I'm not a huge battle rap fan. But I look at these. I always look at everything like these things on the level of, this person sat here and crafted, because it's a performance. Like, when you see battle rappers go at it, it's like a full-on performance. Like, it's just art. It is art. It's not like an incredibly lucrative thing to do per se. It's not something that they're doing. Obviously, you're getting the recognition, you're getting the clout of being the best and winning, and it's competitive. Yeah. But the way people craft all their bars to fire at someone and in front of so many people, and do it with such finesse, like, there's just a level of finesse battle rappers move.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and it's crazy, and it made me realize, it's like, it's not just this, but I've just cumulatively, it's what I've been paying a lot of attention to the most, just from the conversations we've had and doing certain things, and it's like, I feel like next year's got to be a lot of no's to things. I feel like I've got to be more prepared to be able to say no, and that vision, that when I see someone who's sat there and crafted all these bars that have a timing and pacing and spacing and direction and clarity and vigor, the things that they've crafted this with their own vision, that's the level of tenacity that I know that I've had, but need to focus on again, and that I have sitting within me, and that I've kind of, because I feel like this year, although I've done a lot of the things that I've wanted to do, I've also it's been a battle with inner demons that it's like I've lost the battle, but the war's still going on, you know? Like, yeah. There's the sense the war's still going, and I know that the battle, the war's still waging, but there's a couple of battles that I know I gave up on. And yeah, man, like, I think now being at this point where I'm at, where a lot of the things that actually, when I sit down and think about, I realize I've sat and thought and imagined a lot of the things that where I'm at right now. There's no difference between that and everything else that I'm wanting to do.
Definitely.
And it's like, if there's any time I've been in position to sort of make these things real, it's now. And yeah, man, I think it's just like, this Christmas time's just gonna be a real, just about gaining as much clarity as possible. Mm-hmm. You know, forging a vision, man. That's it. And I think that the biggest problem for this year is, like, even though I've had visions for things, I haven't allowed myself to give myself the clarity just because of the anxiety of not doing them right, or
I think you have like the same problem as me, where it's like you got all of these different avenues, and it's like you can pick a path, but do you know whether this is the right path? And then like, okay, I can do this thing, and like there's people calling me for that thing, and I've got all of these things that I know that I can do over here, and it's like, okay, yeah, all of this is cool, but like, what is the thing? And like, obviously, like me, I kind of just like stumbled into just like accepting one thing that's like, okay, yeah, you can write, and people think your writing is okay at least, and stuff like that. So I just said, okay, it's writing then. Like it just ended up like, okay, then cool, you know what? And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna give everything to
That's the funny
path.
thing. I've been and this is why I feel like I've sort of gave up a little bit, or felt disheartened, or I've lost the fire that I've had for the longest time, to prior to this year and even the year before. Like that real sort of vigorous fire that I feel like I had, because I feel that that's what I instead of looking for what I've wanted to, I kind of went, okay, look, I'm going to need to, what I'm going to do now and what I'm going to try is give myself to all these things that I think that are connected to what I want to do, that if this is what I'm actually supposed to be involved with, let me try these things. And those things failed, you know, because those were places that I didn't truly feel comfortable or feel that weren't me.
Yeah,
and now I'm back to this place.
Like,
yeah,
it's now a smorgasbord. Like, oh, it's just like, you know, you got all of these things, you got skills. Yeah, like, and the problem with the place that we came from is that they gave us a plethora of skills, so we could pretty much practice anything. Like, you could pick up a camera tomorrow and like get good at photography in like a week or two and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh shit, I got photography skills now, and it's like, okay, what do I do with this though? Like, and that was like literally the thing that bugged me for like 4 or 5 years, because like I would be tasting things and it's like, oh yeah, I can get good, and it's like, and then people would be like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, and it's like, yeah, so and it's like, and it's like, oh, what? And it's like, now it's like, do I practice this? Do I ask for money for doing this? And it's like, okay, like how do I and then it's like, well, I'm just thinking about having fun. Like when you're in your early 20s, that's what we were doing. It's like we were just having fun, running around London, doing mad things, and just like going out, exploring, all of that stuff. And then like you get older and it's like, and then it just turns into, okay, you can't just be Dora the Explorer no more. Like, stuff is good, like, and Swiper is gonna steal time from you to like continue on with my Dora the Explorer thing. Like time is literally running away from you, and it's like you just gotta pick something to be economically sounding just in this small period, 25 to about 32 or something, which is like what I said to myself. I said, in these 7 years, I'm gonna create an economic backbone, and then in this year I should say, I was like, raw, like I've really cultivated and archived. That's cool. And like I was obviously telling you, like when I almost hit 200, and I think we spoke about on this podcast as well, I was like, what do I do? Like, well, actually, not even then. It was like when I hit 100 articles, and you were like, oh, that's a big thing. And then, like, it's not just articles, it's like essays and then dissertations and stuff, and it's like, so, like, and then it's like, so what are you doing, like, with all of these things that you're putting out? And then, like, almost around the time, like, actually, around the time I put my book out, I was hitting 200 articles, and then it's like, okay, so, like, am I really writing now, or like, are you just doing this for fun now? And then like, and then it started being a resounding effect where I was like asking myself, like, because when people would ask me, how do I make money from this? It's like, I'm not necessarily doing this thing particularly for the money, especially my book. It was like, this isn't for money. It's just something that I did because I needed to do it, because I had to speak up for all of the people that can't like write the way that I write. And it's like using my skill to say something, basically. And like obviously people bought into that and like actually did buy my book, and it's like but and it's like also, yeah, that's great, but that isn't the place where I stay. It's like I do kind of like obviously you got fashion, and then you got writing, and then you got fashion writing, and it's like I'm not really a journalist, I'm like an actual designer, but then now I speak on fashion, and it's like, do designers speak on fashion, or do designers like, does a musician speak on music? Does a musician critique other musicians? Like, and that's a big thing that's been going on the past couple of years. And it's like, what do we actually say or do and stuff like that? So yeah, it's been a weird one, but I just had to add that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And it's weird because I feel the same, and I think that's what's sort of added to everything is, yeah, I do. There's a sort of element where I do feel like a bit of a fraud in a weird way, because a lot of everything else that I'm doing, yeah, it's taking up time. Like, if I'm honest, like even this, it's like, even though this like there's things that this does for me outside of my creativity, this is still like, at the moment, especially the way things are, it's still a big chunk of life and time, you know what I mean? And it's like, like I know that like once, like now everything's sort of settling down as we move into Christmas, and I've got a bit more time to sort of do the things that I've been wanting to do. It's just, man, it's just that focus, man. That's really what I'm wanting, and that's what I'm hungry for again. And that's sort of like what's it called? Putting the blinders on, you know?
Here's to plug my book, Melancholy Maelstrom, Silver Linings. A Diary of Silver Linings. Like, to put the silver linings on it, it's like especially like I was even tweeting today, I was just tweeting about, you know, just having a superior taste level.
Mm-hmm.
And like, not me particularly having a superior taste level, but just having people around me with a superior taste level. And that doesn't come from just like focusing on that one thing. That's like having people around you that have tasted many different types of things, and like obviously I can go from opera, listen to Pavarotti and stuff, but I can also listen to Ski Master Slump God, and I can also talk about all of these things, and it's like, you're an actual human, like, which is something that obviously man have been fighting for ages, like just being a human. Like, just I'm not an artist that does this thing. I'm a human, and then I've got a foundation, and it's not just my life been around design. It's design is a part of my life.
Exactly.
And, like, just having that separation of like, this is my art, and like, but I'm me.
I'm still me.
At the end of the day, and like,
yeah, that's what I've been battling with. I think for the longest time, like I actually, like even to this very moment and day, I don't have a fucking clue who I am or what I'm doing really. And I think it's just like
and the thing is, you can explore that. You can explore yourself, but you can but people will also know that you're good at music. You're a good TJ. You produce. You like. You do those things, but like at the same time, you can still be human and like have challenges. Like,
that's it. Yeah, facts, exactly. And I think that's what I'm like starting to. Like, it's weird because in fact it's sort of the acceptance of that, and I think that's why I knew like the position I've put myself in now is kind of a necessary one because of that. It's because do you know what? There's all these responsibilities that I've got to fulfill anyway. Let me throw a part of my soul into that a little bit. Like, when I say soul, I mean it is almost a bit of a sacrifice. It's a bit of a, do you know what? This is about the understanding the ability for me to navigate this and still face who it is that I'm trying to be. And there's a lot in this past like 4 months having to be in the position that I'm in, that I've had to take from it, and I can see like the opening, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can see the opening of where now it's just about the application of focus and all the things that we've been talking about. Like that, this is all it's going to take now, because at the end of the day, it's true. Like, look, if I've not got a job, if I've not got this, I'm going to have to find money somehow. Going to have to use my skills freelancing, which is still more time. It's not necessarily earning money in what I do. You know what I mean? I could be throwing myself into just straight trying to earn money with my beats and DJing and stuff like that. That's something I could do. But at the end of the day, that's still going to be like, no, my point is, no matter what, there's always going to be problems. And I have to find the best way to navigate, as you're saying, the most economically sound way to navigate what it is that I'm trying to do. Yeah. That makes most sense. And yes, it's just about carving that, because I know what I can do. Like, the thing is, there's so many talented people around me. I have so many people that I met that are doing great things and are involved in the scenes and around people that like that. There's not a problem with that. I know how to connect with people. I know how to through who I am, able to connect my music with people that I want to connect it with. And it's just now about, it's that focus, man.
I feel
it's that focus.
Like a lot of it is just the psychological pressures of society.
Yeah, I think that plays a big part.
So much of it is like, you being very aware of the age you are and the age you're gonna be, and it's like, okay, so you're supposed to have this.
This, exactly, yeah.
And
100%.
Obviously, with the way that we've like mentally structured ourselves, and then actually wanting to structure our lives, it's like, I want to make art that's free of those boundaries,
exactly.
Because that is the best type of art. That's the art that we see we want to make, and that's like our separation between us and that. Like, us and them, I should say. Them being the people that apply the society rules to art and like force that I need to be a millionaire aesthetic, or I need to have all of this type of thing. It's like, when you're talented, like, not to sound snobby or like overclassed or something like that, it's like, just when you have a talent, it's like you are able to just decide, okay, I want to utilize it in a different way. I want to be able to say, I wanted to open myself to the different challenge of just being this type of person. Not saying that the other type of person is bad, but like, I want this challenge and not that challenge. Because then, like, when you think about it, it's like, obviously there's different challenges on both sides, but it's like, over there it's like, oh, you're using your talents for this, so that means you have to think short term, you have to think quarterly about everything that you're doing, and then it's all part of this scheme and society, and like, you're filing taxes for all of this, and then it's like, okay, I need to make money for this at this time, and then you make different moves. But it's like, in the way that we're moving, it's like, okay, so you can do this, but you want to make legacy moves. Okay, so this is going to be longer. This is a difficult, not so traveled path, and there isn't one path for everybody. It's like an individual thing for each person. And even though you're kind of paralleling in the struggle, you're also only going to be able to walk this one on your own, because your type of skill, the way that you execute, is totally different to everybody else. So yeah, it's like having that conscious effort and conscious mindset, knowing, okay, the only reason why I'm different, or why this is different, and why this feels more weirder than anything else, is because I'm deciding, like, it's a conscious decision.
It's not a societal decision.
Yeah, it's like a me decision. It's like, I want to make this type of art, so I have to act in this type of way. And God damn it, you gotta be a man of your words. You just gotta be like, yeah, okay then. And it's like, you can't beat yourself up, you can't bully other people because of that, you can't like be an arsehole to your family and stuff like that. You gotta be like, yo, I picked this one. It's like, and yeah, your family's gonna be asking, where's your money come from, and all of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, because you, at the end of the day, you still have that societal pressure. It doesn't disappear because you decide you want to be a legacy artist and all of this stuff. It's like, no, it's like, you need to make money. You need to have an income somewhere, somehow. You are a human adult in this place. Like, you had the time to decide how you're going to make your money. Okay, that's cool. You're making your money like that. All right, we're cool with you doing that. But then your personal one is, okay, now that I'm making money in some way, somehow, I don't have that little tiny part of the pressure of making stuff for this money. So now you have the opportunity to be or to share your greatest type of
your
art,
most authentic
and
stuff,
you still have to, like, and that doesn't say that you're not going for the public. You're not trying to make the best thing that people will listen to and people will gravitate towards. That's not saying you're automatically gonna make music or art or anything for longevity. That's not saying any of your music's gonna live for longer than you.
It's just the aim. It's the aim.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity. It's just open yourself up to that opportunity. And even though you can do it on the other side, it's just this side just seems that little bit more to what we're suited to. And that's the only thing. It's like, I just want to make great writing and I just want to make great art. Yeah. And obviously...
Well, I think regardless of whatever, it's always more fulfilling. I think it's always more fulfilling when you're being the most true to what you create.
And my stuff, our stuff is like just art in general. Like, it's just... even though my trainers are 100, it's going to be 100% commerce. It has to be 90% marketed, 10% all the creativity in the world. It's like they can be the best, most comfortable trainer, best looking, still has to be
marketed. It has to be a vibe. It has to be. Has to fit into culture. It has to.
Yeah, you have to abide. Like, there's obviously the rules, architectural,
and that's going to inform the creativity regardless. Anyway,
exactly. So. And just gotta be okay with those. Like, there's just those because obviously when you're an independent, it's like you see all of the separations in the ladder or even in the wall or in the fence. You see each individual line that connects with the next line, and you just gotta be able, because you're focused and you're open to each one. It's like, okay, I'm available.
So do you think, this is a question I want to ask, so do you think with like stuff like trainers, I think fashion in general, do you think it's a place where art and commerce sit most in tandem, in a way where they're the most synergistic in how they, and the most synergistic example of how they because I think that's why fashion's probably the most lauded. Like, well, other than everyone needs clothes, everyone likes clothes. Most people like clothes. They have some sense or form of
them, and the fact that you like them and you have style, you need it.
Because even with music, it's like it still needs to be. Everyone loves music. Still needs to be sold, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah, you run a different type of lifestyle with music than you do with fashion. And obviously, like, because before, or not even before, just on a separate path, it's like, oh, I'm into movies. Like, I didn't stop being into movies because I'm writing about fashion. I could have wrote about movies. I could have wrote about movies straight out of university, and that could have been my thing, but I chose not to. And part of the reason is because I didn't want to become a critique of things that, like, I just went university for. I didn't even think that was cool. Like, I still don't even think it's cool, to tell you the full truth. I don't like the fact that I'm thought of as a critic in any sort of way. Like, I'm just someone that's speaking about his style and his life and authenticity, and it just so happens to match with the way men's fashion is right now. And because I focused on men's fashion for so many years, I get the opportunity to speak about it and be an actual participant because I was about it in the 09s and 07 or 08s and 07s and you do that runway walk in the college canteen and like everyone's looking at your clothes and like everybody, and it feels like everybody in the canteen is looking at you and all of that stuff. It's like you got those stories because you tried. Like, and even in uni when like you're in the elevator and it's like people are gonna see you wear clothes. And then you're in the clubs and people are gonna see what you're rocking. And it's like, like, do people know you for being stylish? Yeah, that's cool. And if, anyways, it's like but more to your point, it's like yeah, like
it's still a place where the most creative people can make the most money.
Cinema is like mad commerce. It's like just
straight.
That's
commerce. Where the
it's
most
like
money is made. Yeah.
High investment, and it needs a high yield for the investment to be like, you can't break even in cinema. That is not the point in cinema. In fashion, when you're an independent, it's like you just make clothes, people buy them, you get your own thing and your own people, and it's like you build slowly in there. But in cinema, there's like this, like for just a decent good movie, you need maybe about 250k in general. Like all in, like some movies take 3 or 4 years to make because it takes 3 or 4 years to like raise that money. And some scenes are made in the first year and some scenes are made in the third year. Like it's not about the editing and all that stuff, it's about the equipment and the way that you want to shoot it and all of that stuff. And that can be done in 3 months, which means it costs a lot of money, or that can be done in years, which means it's like not that much money,
stretch it out,
but it's gonna be a longer time. But with fashion, like, and even though like it takes 10k for tooling, just for tooling, like that's the sole, like just to make a sole sample, like for like the mold, like if you're injection molding or if you're using airbags or anything, like just your mold, it costs around 10k, maybe 7, like ish. And this isn't even talking about samples and all of these type of things. It's like with trainers specifically, it's because for shoes it's cheaper, but with trainers specifically, it's like building a car brand, basically. Like you need a range of cars, just as you need a range of sneakers, and you need mass marketing the same way that you need mass marketing for sneakers, and you need to actually tell your story straight away within 30 seconds. And that's not because of people's attention spans or nothing like that. That's because your story needs to be able to be told in a couple sentences, but also envisioned in the way that you need it to be seen. However, outside of that, you just need a great design that feels like it can last long. Like it needs, like that one trainer should be able to last 3 years in someone's wardrobe. Like just like, well, I don't know how everybody else designs, but that's how I design. Like I need that window. Like for my first trainer, it was gonna be 2019 to 2022. Like that's literally like the space that I made this trainer for. And obviously I see different essences of like what I was gonna make in my trainer in the way other people are doing their stuff, and that obviously tells me that I had the right idea in 2018 and 2017. Like I did have the right idea for making a football top for 2019, top of the year and stuff like that, and making a rugby top, which is like really what I wanted to do. Like it was on my wall and all of that stuff, and but obviously different type of money, different type of pattern making, different type of skill set, but there's other things that I know I can do, and my skill and everything that I did to build up that understanding that that's what I wanted to sell in 2018, 2019. I just got to do all of that continuously for years to come, just so I can make whatever I want to make. And in the meantime, I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be presenting and stuff like that. But yeah. And like, I have to, like, if anything, I'll focus back on marketing. Like I'll get a marketing and advertising job at an agency or something, and just like be in it again. Even though I hate that stuff, like I low key have to be in it and know all the things that we're using.
But specifically in a fashion house, or like not a fashion house, sorry,
just an agency that deals with different types of clientele and like.
But in fashion.
Yeah, it could it can. I haven't thought specifically about fashion, but yeah, that's cool. It would be good, but it's like some fashion houses you'd have to go to LVMH or Kering. It's all a different type. It's like being at Universal. It's so it's just different. And like I said, it's not my thing. I'm not trying to be an editor in Vogue. It's I just want to be I really just want to be in the space. But to be in the space, you need to be grandfathered in. You someone needs to be yeah, you're the person for this, which is the opposite of everything that I am. But
yeah, I feel you.
But yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it's so that's why it's
okay, lit. That is it. Man,
that's an awesome
that's a roundup
conversation. That's dope. That's a dope, because that's where our minds are right now. But yeah, this has been the Culture and Camaraderie podcast. Thank you for listening. This is myself, Damadici, nytypical.net, and Laxera, LAX_ERA.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of removing the underscore?
If I can.
But yeah.
I don't know. Because then it's Laxera.
Laxera. Yeah,
I'll
that's
see if
all
it
right.
works.
That's all right. But yeah.
It works either way, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
If it's one word, it kind of works.
Underscores kind of throw people off a little bit, which is why I removed the underscore from
I'll see
my
if I
fashion
can.
page.
I don't know if I tried it.
But yeah, here are Black's Error. Either way, on SoundCloud as well. Have you uploaded recently?
No, I haven't.
And Sound Assuade. I'm waiting for those pictures. I was even supposed to ask you.
We're trying to sort everything out now. We've got another show in the works that we're sort of trying to get together. We may be doing it at a different venue, but we'll see what's going on. I'll keep everyone posted.
The money gonna be different.
Yeah, so but we'll keep y'all posted. Anyway, this has been the Culture and Camaraderie podcast.
Peace, blessings, and salutations. Tations.